Alright, so today I'm going to show you guys how to do my signature beach waves that I do on myself and all of my clients. I get tons of questions on how I do it, how I don't get kinks, how they look so loose. So I'm going to show you guys how to do all of that today. Step one is you're going to want to brush your hair and always start from the bottom. Be nice to your hair, you guys. Don't brush aggressively. I know it seems like a very unimportant step, but be gentle to it. I'm just going to work my way up my hair. I do wear hair extensions, so you'll notice a lot of the times I have one hand above the hand that is brushing just to hold everything in place and make sure that there is no tugging going on. Another trick if you wear hair extensions like me, I do wear beaded row hair extensions. So for my clients that have multiple rows, I always tell them the best thing to do is lift up where each row is and get underneath just to make sure that there are no tangles under there and no matting. So obviously I have a lot of long hair, so I like to section it out of the way just to know that I'm making each piece the way that I want to. It is section out where my row is again, just like we were talking about. If you're working with short layers, I always recommend dropping a layer of your natural hair with the rows. So let's say this is my row here. If I had really short layers, I would recommend taking a section, so just kind of slice it right there and dropping that down over your extensions, and it'll just help everything blend really nicely. And I like to section my hair off in the middle. This way I know that I'm getting all of the back pieces of my hair. So I'm going to be using the Bioionic 1-inch curling iron. This is the long barrel for long hair. If you are not experienced with curling irons, I wouldn't recommend a long barrel because you'll definitely thump yourself in the head with this. But yeah, so let's get started. I like to start in the back, just like this. I'm not particular with my sections. I like to take different size sections, hold it in longer, some hold it in not as long, just to give it variation. So step one is making sure that this is facing away from you. So when the clamp is facing away from you, you're gonna curl away from your head like this. So you're gonna go in this direction. If it is facing you in the mirror and you're turning this way, you're gonna get a kink in your hair. So I'm gonna go through and smooth this first, just one pass like that. This clamp is facing me in the mirror. I'm gonna put that in and I'm gonna turn it away from my head like this. So starting at the top, unclamping just a little bit, rolling up. Unclamping again, just a little bit, and rolling up. Leaving this end out here, rolling back up, and then I'm just gonna twist it out and just let the curling iron do its thing. Don't unclamp it, just do that, and then slightly unclamp the end to pull it through. And sometimes I'll go through and straighten out the end just a smidge, but I'm gonna take this piece and throw it in the back. So for this next section, we're gonna do the opposite. We are going to smooth the hair just like this. This will also help blend your hair extensions with your short layers if you're one of those clients. But now we're gonna do the opposite. The clamp is facing away from us in the mirror. And now what I'm gonna do is go forward, just like this, and repeat the same thing. So unclamping just a little bit, rolling back up, and clamping just a little bit, roll back up. If you have filled the whole hair, the barrel with your hair, I'm just gonna slightly twist it down and then continue. Just like that, and then again, just let it twist out, don't touch it, and then just let your ends slide out to make them straight, just like that. And again, put it in the back. Keeping this facing you, just like this, and you're gonna go away from you, just like that. Up a little bit, unclamp a little bit. Up a little bit, unclamp a little bit. So just keep repeating that until you have a little end hanging out, rolling it back up, and then just let the curling iron do its thing. Just unravel it, don't touch the clamp, just leave it. And then once I get to the end, I'm gonna unclamp just a smidge to pull that end through nice and straight, just like that. I find it really helpful for people learning to kind of say that through their head. Pass through the hair, roll, unclamp a little, roll up, unclamp a little, roll up, unclamp a little, roll up. That way you kind of are talking yourself through it, and then unwinding, don't touch, pull the ends straight. So if that helps you to say it out loud, I normally tell my clients to do that. So if that little trick helps you, then go for it. I'm going to take these sections and brush through it. I'm not going to let them sit just because my hair extensions do hold curl very well, and I don't want them to be too curly. Okay, so once you have the bottom, I'm going to save the bangs for later, but once you have the bottom done, I just like to go through again and just rake through all of my curls with my fingers, just kind of to break that up. So if you have hair extensions like me and you have another row, go ahead and drop that down, curl that, and then work on the top. So what I'm going to do is kind of drop out, well, first I'm going to put all this back because I don't like to get confused. I'm going to drop out this hair here. Okay, so another thing that I want you guys to keep in mind when you're doing these waves and recreating this at home is notice how my curling iron is always vertical. It's never really horizontal like this. This is going to keep your waves long and get that beachy look. I am curling it this way. I'm keeping everything vertical. Starting at the top too is going to give you that wave at the top. That's going to also help give you that volume up here as well. So notice how as I'm clamping it down, everything is staying right up and down. So kind of lightly, keyword lightly, tugging. And this is giving me a longer curl. So it's not very bouncy, it's just kind of long. And that's how you get that beachy look. You don't want it to be too much of a Shirley Temple curl. And alternating as well is going to give you more of that natural look. That way not everything is going in the same direction. And it's able to kind of break apart. It's not really all curling in the same direction, forming like a big wave. So once you get to this section here, but what I'm going to do is, again, starting at the root, and I'm going to keep this very long and undone just because I don't like my front pieces to be too perfect looking. So I'm going to take this right when I get to my eyebrow, kind of turn it, and then pull it straight just like that. So you can see it's not really too curly, it's pretty straight, but that's personally how I like to do it and I like it to look. And I'm constantly going through and raking through these curls just because I don't want them to, again, look too perfect. And all of these pieces here that I'm I'm doing away from my face. I like to do my front pieces away from my face just to really frame it. I'm going to smooth it, and once I get to my eyebrows was when I'm going to start my bend and then pull straight, just like that. So when you're doing that, you want to make sure that this is facing you in the mirror, and then you're going to go away from you just like this. And again, rake through your curls. And like I said, it doesn't have to be exactly how you want it. Most of the time I go back through and touch up my bang pieces at the end. When you're doing this on day one, you just want to make sure you're getting everything curled, and then you can go through and really piece out your hair and do some detail work. I also will hold some longer at the top of the hair. I'll hold some longer at the bottom of the hair. There's really no rhyme or reason. You just want to take a lot of variations when you're doing any of this. Okay, so once we get here, this is when we're going to kind of brush everything through and really look and see like where we want to touch things up, if it's looking kind of how we like it. Use your personal preference if you want to keep it a little bit curlier. Sometimes I like to keep it a little bit curlier and tighter just so throughout the week until I wash my hair again, it's going to really last me. If it's too beachy now or too loose now, I'm gonna have to go through and touch it up more throughout the week. So that's also a tip of something that I like to do. Varies like day to day. Sometimes I want to go through and make certain pieces tighter. Sometimes I want to make pieces straighter, but again, personal preference on how you're feeling. This area here for me sometimes is a little bit too flat for my liking. So I just like to pick this up like this and take my wet brush and just very lightly backcomb that, very lightly. And then every once in a while too, I'll go right under my bangs and do that same thing. If you get too ratty, you can just take your brush super light like that. And that just gives me a little bit of volume. I like when it kind of comes off my face just because I don't like my hair to sit on my face too much. Most of the time I end up tucking my hair behind my ears, but this like gives me a little bit of volume. Another thing that I like to do is I like to go through and brush through my hair just to soften the curls again and make sure they're not too put together. So once you are combed through, you can go through with a texture spray, a wave spray. I'm gonna use the OUAI Wave Spray today. I also love the ORIBE Dry Texture, the Dry Thickening Spray, Trophy, or Stale from R&Co. Those are all amazing, but this is just what I have at home right now, so that's what I'm gonna do. So when I spray this, I like to go kind of far, and I like to pick up my hair and kind of drop it like this. So go ahead just like that, pick it up, and then sometimes I'll even pick up that section I teased and give it a little spritz in there. This sometimes will make your hair look a little bit crazy and poofy, so you can always kind of finger through it just like that and make it not look so crazy and big. And sometimes I'll do some on my bangs. Then I will take my hair oil and just do one pump if it wants to come out. One pump. Go like this through my hands. This is very important if you have hair extensions, and just take from here and just get those ends of your hair as well as the extensions and really make sure they're moisturized. I also like to go through and get my bangs with whatever's left over. You don't want to do the bangs first or they will be very oily. If I'm feeling extra fancy, I will use the ORIBE AIRSTYLE. I used to do this so much, and I just like to get some on my finger like that, go through like this. This again is an extra step if you're feeling fancy. And this just adds air to the hair, poofs it up a little bit more. You'll notice I always go back to this top section here and kind of like poof it back up. Like I said, this is where I like my volume personally. And then you can go through the ends like this. And just again, it adds that pieciness to it, which I really like. I'm gonna get just a little bit more and go through my bangs and just give that a little bit more volume and pieciness to the look. My hair's super long, so I'll kind of like step back for you guys. And this is what it looks like when it is all done. This is like my everyday beachy wave. This is what I like to do on myself as well as my clients. If you guys got any tips from this, I would love to hear and see you guys recreate. So you can tag me on Instagram at Kayla Hair and the Pine Petaluma so that we can see how you guys got your beachy hair texture and show us what you guys ended up doing with it. Let us know what else you guys want to see from the Pine Coven, and go ahead and like and subscribe to this video for more from us here at the Pine. Alright, see you guys later. Hope you learned something new, and have an awesome day. I don't even know my own Instagram. Rewatching this. Kayla Hair. Kayla Stag Hair. Come on, girl. Get it together. Yes, I am using the Princess Jasmine brush because I'm like 5. So again, just I like to take some. It depends on my mood. Actually, I lied.